Hey, welcome to the D. Louise book series where we talk about books, read books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy stuff going on here. And every Friday we do recap of Star Trek Next Generation episode recaps. I'm a series person. I like to binge series. I like to read series. I like to read series books. We are on disc season 7, disc 1, episode 254. We did liaisons last week with Data, and I really don't like the stuff where Data had to betray his uh commanding officer and his companions, but he did it anyway because of lore and because of the emotional chip, etc. All um I wish we had a nitpickers book. We don't. It ran out at the end of 6. I do have a couple of surprise entries though. I just thought I'd show these real quick. Star Trek's first mission aboard the Enterprise. Here is a very special Star Trek novel from the woman consistently voted by the fans as their favorite writer from original Star Trek television series. D.C. Fontana, writer of such classic Star Trek episodes as Journey to Babel. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Ah, where was I? Journey to Babel and This Side of Paradise brings us the never before told story of a young Mr. Spock on his very first mission aboard the USS Enterprise. You'll also meet Caster Christopher Pike and his enigmatic first officer number 1, previously seen only in the original Star Trek pilot The Cage, as well as the ship's brand new engineering officer Montgomery Scott. And did they do any of this in the movie? Do we know? Does anybody know? Well, go on. Her bed's over there. I should have set this up better. I'm sorry. There we go. That's a little bit better. So if that came across in the unboxing the other day. Another book that came across, Star Trek Sarek, A.C. Crispin. Spock sat by his mother's bedside, holding her small, cold, wasted hand in both his own, as though he could somehow transfer some of his strength to her own by doing so. The room was bathed in sunlight, and the monitoring devices were subdued, non-intrusive. As Spock watched his mother, her lips parted, and she spoke. Barely more than a whisper escaped. Beneath that was a name, Sarek. She'd been calling his father's name for hours. The sound of it wrenched Spock's heart, as nothing in his life ever had. I am here, mother. I am Spock. I am here with you, mother. And this book, which is it probably bring this up again in a while. This is an interesting book. It looks interesting. It's all these authors. Look at all these famous authors. Sorry, the glare. But these are some cool authors, aren't they? All these little short stories. Where else can you find Dennis Lee Haynes, Patrick Kenzie, and Michael Connolly's Harry Bosch together solving a missing persons case that seemed ripped from the headlines, or Lee Child's Jack Reacher teaming up with Joseph Finder's Nick Heller to settle a score with an Albanian gang about to break the legs of a crooked accountant. Not to mention Jeffrey Deaver's Lincoln Rhyme assisting John Sanford of Lucas Davenport in the hunt for a diabolical serial killer who just might have his sights set on two men's partners in crime. Amelia Sachs and Lily Rothenberg, with the 11 blockbuster pairs face off as a one-of-a-kind treasure. This is good. This should be interesting. All right. So, Liaisons. Disc Season 7, Disc 1. Episode 254. Let's see if we can do this. So, Worf is getting dressed. Riker comes in. Riker says, Worf, they're going to be here any minute. I'm having problems. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you are procrastinating. Klingons do not procrastinate. It's a tactical delay. You have spent 5 minutes greeting the Laarians, maybe an hour making small talk at the reception. I'm the one who's got to escort them around the ship for the next 3 days. I don't enjoy these diplomatic missions. It's all part of being in Starfleet. There, I don't see why it's necessary to wear these ridiculous uniforms. Protocol, Riker says. And they go off. Oops. So this may be the only time I get a group chat. I don't know yet. But I just thought I'd show it. The four of them are sitting there. They are going to be greeting Ambassador Laquelle, Blythe, and some other people. Shall we get on to it? Someone is missing me today. I've done quite a few videos, and she's just massively missing me. Would you stop? Would you stop? Are you okay? I know, Mommy's gonna brush you again. I brushed her 4 times today. She still wants to be brushed. And I'm in a conundrum. A friend of mine, well, I'm not very friendly with her, but I'm an associate. I know her. And she's trying to pawn 2 kittens off on me. The problem is I don't have a room. In the olden days, all of my cats, we nurseried them in this one room. And then from then on in, they took over the rest of the house and they never went back in the room. This time I have 2 cats that have called that home their sanctuary. They do spend most of the time in other rooms, but occasionally they do take that room as a sanctuary. And I don't know what to do with the 2 kittens. Do I give them that room and take away sanctuary from other? I'm just in a conundrum. I don't know what to do. But anyways, let's get on with this. So these are the alien visitors, the 3 of them. Why does this seem a little familiar? I wonder, does this guy get with Troi? We'll have to see. I don't know. I don't know yet, but it just seems a little on the familiar side. We'll have to see what happens. So they're here for 7 days, and who is he taking? Picard is going back to their home world. So they're doing an exchange. They're going to spend 2 of the guys are going to spend 7 days here, and Picard is going back to their home world. What is he thinking? Is he nuts? I hope this is a friendly society that's not looking to take over anything. Let's see. So they exchange greetings, they do the meet and greet, and Picard's leaving. He's not even going to the reception, he's just going. And those people are going to go out hang out with Troi, Riker, and Worf. I don't like this. I just don't like it. Something's up. You know something's up. So he's introducing them to Riker, Troi, and Worf. And Picard tells him that Riker has been chosen to be the tour guide. And the guy's like, no, I want Worf. I want Worf. So he insists on Worf, so he gets Worf. It's just weird. So then Troy's hanging out with one of these guys, and he's filling his plate with all the food that they did, probably something similar to what he's got on his planet. And he notices that her plate is empty. And she's like, I'm waiting till we get to the desserts. Desserts, what is this? It's something we eat after the main course. It's usually very sweet. It's usually very bad for you. We eat it purely for pleasure. If you ask me, it's the best part of any meal. My people eat only for nourishment. Oh, well, let me introduce you to some of my favorites. And she takes them over to the dessert tray. And they indulge. Does that look like ice cream, maybe? Well, it's definitely a chocolate cake. So some ice cream and stuff, some fancy desserts. What do you think? This guy doesn't like the buffet. He wants to be served. And he talks to Dr. Crusher into serving him. And instead, Worf does it. I guess to be a good gentleman to Beverly or whatever. But Worf goes and gets his food instead. They should just make the guy go. Right? Yes, he's a guest. I get that, but still. So while Worf is getting the guy's food, Data comes over. How is your diplomatic assignment progressing? Fine. I've heard that in moments of diplomatic tension, it's often helpful to find elements of commonality. Ambassador Blythe is demanding, temperamental, and rude. You share all of those qualities in abundance. Perhaps you should try to build on your similarities. Good going, Data. That was good. That was good. I enjoyed that, Data. That was really good. I keep hoping for two shot and it's not coming up. So Picard's in the other seat. The other guy's here. Picard is trying to make small talk. Is there any places you recommend I visit on your planet? The guy's like, no. He tried a couple of different things. So then he finally says, how long are we gonna be here? He said it'll take 17 hours to get to their destination. Gee whiz, I don't know if I'd want to be that far away from the Enterprise. Why is the Enterprise that far away anyway? Why didn't they go closer to the planet? Like maybe in orbit? I mean, the Enterprise moves, right? I mean, it doesn't have to stay right here. They could be closer to the planet. Just in case stuff goes wrong, they can do a rescue. And they're not a full day's ride away from rescue. I'm just saying. Then they have a system power failure, and the ship dies, and they crash on a planet. Like I said, if the Enterprise was in orbit, all Picard would have had to do was beam down. I told you didn't like this in the first place. This doesn't bode well. What was that? What was that? Uh, what was, I can't remember it now. It's gonna drive me crazy. Okay, I found it. Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. That's what I'm thinking of. It's going to be one of those get to know you type situations, even though they both speak the same language. I'm telling you. So they both get knocked out. Then Picard wakes up and the other guy needs treatment. Picard goes for help and he gets knocked out and someone carries him away. So then back on the Enterprise, Worf is playing tour guide. The engineering sections encompass 12 decks of the secondary hull. Deck 42 contains the antimatter storage facility. What is the mass flow rate of the antimatter replenished stream to the containment pods? Excuse me? The antimatter replenish rate, what is it? I don't know. Perhaps there is someone who does know the answer. Are you smarter than this one? Why do you ask? I wish to see the Bursard collectors. Take me to them. I have no idea. Not a clue. Maybe Geordi should be answering his questions? Just a thought. Oh, look who shows up to answer questions. Geordi. Then this guy is hanging out with Troi, who's enjoying all the refreshments, I should say. This deck is devoted to stellar cartography, biological research, and astrophysics. We have over 1,000 people on board. Are you sure you don't want some of this? This palagist? No, thank you. I'm still recovering from all those desserts last night. Are you sure? It's very delicious. I'm sure. Please. And they go through all this stuff. Um. Uh. They see children, and he says, "Wait a minute." Now, I would like to say, even back in the day, it's still icky to share a straw with somebody. You want to share a beverage, you each sip from your own straw. And that's only if you really, really know each other closely. But to have two strangers, two aliens share the same straw, doesn't work for me. I was wrong. She takes the lid off and takes the sip that way. That's better. I'm glad she did that. So then he stops and is looking at the kid. What is this? It's a child. Children are our offspring. They are young. They grow into adults over a period of many years. They grow into beings like that. Offspring, he says. Ambassador, I'm curious. How does your species procreate? Post cellular compounding, we emerge from the natal pod fully grown. I see. Do you have a name? Eric. Eric, do you like desserts? He says yes. May I give Eric desserts? Then they give him desserts. Then Picard wakes up in a strange place. This doesn't sound good at all. I don't know. You can't see it with this my bad computer. But he's got a device on his wrist. He can't get up out of bed. So then he sees this woman. Um she's got one of the device that he's got on. He gives her food. Um And he says, "This is a Tyrellian cargo freighter, isn't it? Is your ship by? Are you one of our crew?" "No, I was a passenger. We crashed." "How many people survived? Were you the only one?" "Well, you're not certainly Tyrellian, unless you've lost two of your arms. What's your name?" "I'm Jean-Luc Picard. I'm a Starfleet officer." "Her name is Anna. Anna, are there other people on this planet?" "What's the star date you crashed?" 40817. 7 years? Years? She's been here 7 years. "I thought maybe two. How could it be seven? Anna, listen to me. On the shuttle, there's equipment that we survived the crash. We can use it to conflict Starfleet. They'll send a ship for us. We can leave? Yes, both of us. Now, if you'll help me get to the shuttle. Ow. Don't move." And he goes to get. She goes? She goes to get the stuff. Oh, good God. See what happens there. So then Worf is complaining to Deanna and Troi about their visitors and how he doesn't want to be involved with them anymore. And Troi and Riker find this highly amusing as they are familiar with Worf and the Klingons. And Deanna doesn't find out anything, but she also has been eating too many desserts. Uh, it's interesting. Then they have an uncomfortable conversation. The door was locked from the outside, so he couldn't get out, and he's concerned about that. And she went and got equipment, and it's been damaged. And I, I just, I just don't. She kisses him. She gets close to him. She doesn't want him to leave. She wants him to stay with her. She doesn't want to leave the planet. She wants to stay where she is. It's just the whole thing is just ugh. Picard is trying to fix stuff in where they are so he can get a signal out or something, and she's not happy with him doing that. So then Riker invites the alien and teaches him how to play poker. So Worf and Troi and Riker are playing poker. Let's see if I don't know if I can get a group shot. We'll see. The other alien is in there too. I couldn't get a group shot. There we go. There's a group shot of everybody playing poker. And then she admits she damaged stuff and was trying to delay him because she wanted to keep him on the planet with her. And he wants her to take the device off. He gets her to do it, I think. We'll see. Oh, he gets it off. She was trying to keep him captive on the planet because she wanted him to stay with her. She was in love. But I want to point out there is the guy on the shuttle. What about him? No one's mentioned him this whole time. Then, after a brief "I love you, I want you to stay here forever" convo, and she tries to have her way with him, she runs away and locks him in. He uses the crowbar to get the door open. "Hey, it's the guy from the shuttlecraft! Come to the rescue!" So then they talk about how when his species is hurt, it goes into a little bit of a hibernation and reheals itself. But they also talk about the girl. Maybe she went to go kill herself to run off a cliff because Picard rejected her. So they're gonna go look for her. Whoa, that is some cliff. So it turns out that the crash on the planet was deliberate, and the girl was deliberate too. And he says his name is Ambassador Volvo, and his mission was to study human intimacy, specifically the concept you call love. In our study of culture, we did not understand certain concepts, so we sent 3 representatives to study them, to experience them. But you believe that in bringing me here would be better understanding of love? Several years ago, we discovered the remains of a Trillian fighter on this planet. The ship contained logs by a single survivor, a human woman. That was our first contact with human culture. The woman lived alone for 7 years until another human crashed on this planet, a male. The male was injured and she nursed him back to health and they fell in love. In the vlog, she described many concepts we found difficult to understand. Pleasure, antagonism, love. These were alien to us. We wished to experience them for ourselves. Ambassador Loco was sent to spirit pleasure, and Blythe was sent to experience antagonism, and I was sent to experience love. Okay. Let me just say that that would not take a direct approach, Ambassador. I have tell you that in my culture, we would have done much considered a crime. A crime. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. I'm assuming the shuttle is okay. We can leave. He's like, yeah, we can leave. So he goes. Picard's like, let's go. So apparently, Worf is a little sore. He engaged with Blythe in 11 hours of holodeck battle exercises. 11 hours? Yes, I learned a great deal about the concept of antagonism. It was excruciating. And he thanks her for all the chocolates. These bioenzymatic supplements my people consume for food. I'm afraid you'll find that these are not as delicious as your chocolates. Um, the shuttle returns and they all leave. So that was pretty much the end of Liaisons. Episode 254. I hope you will join me next week for Interface and the week after for the Gambit Part 1 as we start working on Star Trek Next Generation Season 7, Disc 1. Um, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good day. Don't forget to check out If Then later this afternoon. It should be interesting. We're getting into the St. Patty's Day mood this week and next week. And hope you have a good one.